another issue of Flea Market Fantasy, the world's second greatest Bronze Age era comic book podcast. Joining me as always is new Michael, Kevin Jank.
I used to be known as Kevin Jank, but I think after this issue, I may change my name to Butter Rum, possibly
Yes,
Butter Rum 2, in honor of the fallen.
yes, we have to pay tribute to Butter Rum.
That's right.
A,
The true star of this book. Didn't get his name in the title, but really he should have been.
a poor horse who is now probably on the back of postage stamps somewhere.
Oh, or
But
in chop suey.
tell the kids what we're reading today, Jank.
Today we're going to be reading Firestar number 2 from
Ye-
1986.
I believe so. Or actually,
Yeah.
well, yeah, here's the thing. It's this issue was released on December 31st, 1985.
Happy New
So,
Year.
yeah,
Here's
that's
Firestar.
that's very strange.
Let's ring in the new year with a dead horse.
So yeah, Firestar. But before we get into that, let's remind everybody who's watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. We're up to 375. We picked up one more,
Oh, okay.
inching ever closer to
More like a
500
centimeter, but we're still
in
getting
Dark
there.
Knight Returns. So that's the
Maybe
goal.
sometime this decade we'll get there.
And I also have a book out there called Monkey Flip about a chimp detective. All right, so Firestar. Now, we all were introduced to Angelica Jones, that's her real name,
Yeah.
and Amazing Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, the animated TV show, 1981. Jank, you were way too young you weren't even born yet, were you?
In 1981, no, I would have just missed it, but it was on for a
Yeah.
little while, right?
Yeah, I was on, I think, 2, 3 years, but
Yeah, I could have seen it when I was a tiny infant, but my parents were not going to put that on, so
but I
I
was
did not.
6 years old when it came out because there was a Spider-Man cartoon like right before it, before he had any Amazing Friends. And
Yeah, I've heard tale of that one. I don't think I've ever seen a single frame of that one. I've
it's
seen like the 60s one and the Amazing Friends one, and people forget
yeah,
about that
you
other
can find
one.
them on YouTube. I watched them not too long ago, a few of them, and yeah, they're like the same animation and everything as Amazing Friends. He just didn't have any friends. So it's this, but so, but with the
Their
Amazing
attempt to
Friends,
save it. They're like, oh, this thing isn't getting ratings. Let's give them some friends. Let's team
so
them up with some mutants for some reason.
yeah, because it's 1980. Well, I guess the X-Men were all the rage at the time.
Yeah, that's true, I guess. But one of
So
them, I mean, it's like you have one guy who's no longer on the X-Men and
uh,
one girl who's just been created for this show specifically.
yeah, they used Iceman as his one amazing friend, Bobby Drake, of course, of X-Men fame, and they needed another person, and they wanted to use the Human Torch,
Oh, that would make sense. Him and Spidey are good friends.
but his rights were tied up, so they couldn't use him. So they were going to use Herbie the Robot. No, that's the old Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
So when they couldn't do Human Torch, they created their own character. John Romita Sr., Rick Hoberg, and Dennis Marks created Firestar, Angelica Jones. And Dennis Marks named her after one of his ex-girlfriends. So that's a
Oh.
tribute, I guess.
I guess that's something, yeah.
Yeah. So that was her on the cartoon series, and that was a very popular cartoon series at the time. Uh, so then her
Yeah.
first appearance in the comic books came in Uncanny X-Men 193 in 1985, and this version of her was created by Chris Claremont and John Romita Jr. So the son took over then. But
Mm.
this Firestar, because that would have been like probably the show's been off the air for like a year or so at that point, and and
Yeah,
she
they're really jumping on that when it's hot, apparently.
and this was the X-Men issue where the Hellions, who are like the evil version of the New Mutants,
Hmm.
um, Thunderbird's little brother.
Yep, he was only briefly on the team, and then he kind of wised up and bailed.
What was his name?
I think he originally went by Thunderbird, but then eventually became Warpath.
Yeah, Warpath. That's right. But what was his? Because it was James was the older brother, right?
John was the brother who
Oh,
died. James is the
James is
one.
all
Yeah,
right.
the
That's what I
second
was
one.
worried about. Yeah,
Yep.
can't remember which was which. But yeah, so he wanted to try and get revenge against Charles Xavier for his older brother dying,
Yeah.
And so he took a couple of Hellions with him. But they were Firestar was involved in that, but she was kind of manipulated into doing it.
Yeah, it turns out that's a common thing with her at this
Yeah.
time. Miss Frost just whining her around her finger.
But in this particular instance, it was that empath guy from the Hellions that brainwashed her or
Yeah, that's
something.
right.
So she wasn't really a bad girl. And then but she stayed with the Massachusetts Academy, the Emma Frost School for young gifted students.
Mhm.
And but then later she broke away from them eventually, and she joined the New Warriors.
Hey, your favorite super team of all time.
Yeah, I don't know anything about them. They were in that one Thor issue we did, right? With the
That's right.
Juggernaut. Yeah.
Their
Was she,
one
oh yeah, she
Bronze Age
was there,
appearance.
right?
Yep,
Yeah, she was there.
she sure was. Yeah, she got
And
together with Justice there, the old
the
Marvel
Marvel
boy
Boy.
or Justice. Yeah, Vance Astrovic.
Yeah, they became an item and they were going to get married. And then
Yeah.
she broke it off. She said, "No, I'm too young to get married. I want to go have some fun." You know?
Still had her eye on Cannonball, apparently.
Yes. So then after the New Warrior stuff, well, I think this was maybe her and Justice. Didn't they join the Avengers? That was Marvel Boy's
Did
name, right?
post Heroes Reborn. Yeah, they were putting together a new Avengers team, and they got the call up.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
then later, she started teaching at the Jean Grey School for Gifted Youngsters or something. Is that what that was?
Okay. Yeah. I guess that was when Wolverine was leading the thing.
Yeah, I don't know, but she was a professor there, and then she was asked to join the X-Men as well. So,
Oh, yes, yes, yes. That was, yeah. There was a comic that was drawn by Ed McGuinness that I think it was Extraordinary X-Men. No, no, what was that one called?
I
Some
have no idea.
Astonishing X-Men, something like that. Amazing X-Men, that's what it was. Amazing.
So she was in the well, the Hellions, the New Warriors, Avengers, and X-Men. That's something. She's a
Yeah,
lot of
she's done it
teams.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But her powers are like her powers in the cartoon show where she could control and like any form of heat and or fire, you know.
Hmm.
But in the comics, it's more like it's a radiation-based heat, right?
Yeah, they're
Microwave
like
energy.
microwaves. Yeah. So it is heat. And I guess she can theoretically set things on fire because she certainly believes that she did in this issue.
Uh, yeah, I don't think she did though. But yeah, she
Right.
believes. Yeah.
Right. But if that wasn't what her powers did, you'd
Yeah.
see through that immediately. It's like, that wasn't me.
I don't know. I get drunk sometimes and start fires. I don't know. Crazy.
I mean, maybe I guess if her powers are microwave based, maybe there was metal in that barn and she's like, oh,
Just trying to
I
heat up
hit
a
the,
hot pocket,
yeah.
and whole thing went up. So also in this book, the White Queen we mentioned, we've never actually talked about her on the show, but that's Emma Frost.
Yeah.
First appearance was Uncanny X-Men 129, 1979, created by Chris Claremont and John Byrne. That's kind of
Yeah.
sad. Her first appearance is also the first appearance of Kitty Pryde. She gets overshadowed, you know?
Yep. It's true.
Yeah.
But
But
I mean, that's quite the book right there. You got
yeah,
two major
I
appearances.
I had it. That was my when
Ooh.
I was a little kid. I had it, and I gave it away to somebody
Oh,
a few years
man.
ago. No,
You
like
can
I
go
had it all
back
my
and,
life. It was like my prize, and I gave it to somebody, and then you know how that goes.
uh, you can go back and punch yourself in the jeans.
But Emma Frost, she's the White Queen of the Hellfire Club,
Yeah.
and we got Sebastian Shaw,
Yeah. He's the Black King.
then Celine,
Yep. Black Queen.
and then who's the White King?
Was it Donald Pierce
I think
or,
so, right?
yeah. I mean, there's that Harry Leland guy, but I don't
I
think he
think he was
was.
the Rook.
Yeah, that sounds right. I know
Yeah, so
eventually they wanted Magneto to be the new White King, I believe.
Pierce doesn't seem very king-like, but yeah, maybe there a White King? There was Pierce seems more like a bishop, but I guess he's
The White King of the Hellfire Club was Edward Buckman.
never heard of that guy in my life.
Okay. No wonder we don't know who he was.
He's just like a guy. He, he's like he thought he was joining like the local Rotary Club, and here's the Hellfire
Yeah.
Club. He's like,
All
what?
these Titans, and here we got, I'm Edward Buckman. I got a nice business card. Look at me.
I sell insurance. Did they say who Edward Buckman is? I had no idea.
Identity class human. Okay, so no one cares.
Yeah, why is he with hanging around with the Hellfire Club? Uh,
Huh.
Anyway, but the
Yeah,
Hellfire Club, they were very entertaining. And so let me ask you this about the White Queen, because I'm sure you know this. Oh,
sure.
apparently, so yeah, she's running the Massachusetts Academy, which is actually like a big school, and it has like a human population in the school. And then there's
I'm like a
a Yeah.
Unlike classic Xavier school, yeah, that's got like that like humans and mutants intermingle.
Yeah, like Xavier just has like six kids he keeps in his basement. This is like an entire school of an
She must
actual
actually have like a teaching license and stuff like that.
yeah, they have like
Wow, the permits.
athletic teams and pep rallies and
Yeah.
everything. So then her Hellions are the mutants who attend the school, and she that's her special little New Mutants group, and they have their own little outfits and code names. And
Yeah.
so the Hellions, their first appearance was New Mutants 16, 1984, created by Chris Claremont and Sabi Sima. And the ones featured in this issue are Cat's Eye. She
Hmm.
can turn into a cat.
Yep. You'll notice a pattern here that the Hellions are very much kind of mirror images
Yes,
of the New Mutants themselves
yes.
for the most part.
They're watered down versions of the mutants. Empath, he's a guy who can control people's emotions, so that's basically Karma, who can control their minds, same kind of thing. Jetstream, fly around
Yeah,
just like
basically your
Cannonball.
cannonball. Yep.
Now, this one, Roulette, she
Yeah.
can she can create these little discs, like black or green discs, I think, and she can throw them.
They're black and red, maybe,
Oh
to
yeah,
go
that
with
it would
her.
have to be, right? It would have
Yeah,
to
yeah.
be black and red. And so the black discs are if they hit you, you get bad luck.
Yep.
And if it's the red one, you get good luck.
Yeah, she's kind of like a Scarlet Witch, I guess, in that regard, casting
Or
like probability hexes.
a long shot. And who's the other girl? Domino
Hmm.
or something. So I don't know. She really doesn't have
Yeah, I don't know who
who
her
her New Mutant
analog would
counterpart would
be.
be. Tarot. She's a girl who can read like probabilities and stuff
Yep.
and like predict the future, kind of.
Predict your future, and her like cards, the images on her tarot cards
Oh,
can come to
that's
life.
right. I forgot
So
about
it's
that. Yeah.
very Mirage-esque there, your old Danny Moonstar, where she's like bringing your fears to life. She can bring her card images to life.
And then we got Baby Thunderbird or eventually Warpath.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
He's
hey,
kind of
by
your
the
sunspot, but then you also have a
yeah.
guy named Beef, who's also just another big,
Oh,
strong guy.
see, I've never known beef. Never knew that guy.
Yeah.
But hey, while we're talking about Sunspot, last week on the LCS show, we did the New Mutants movie, and what a train wreck that is.
Yeah.
But I was taken aback by Sunspot's heat powers. He's basically the Human Torch in that movie, and not really just Sunspot that I know. And
Sure.
you said, well, he did get heat powers, and you thought he in the original New Mutants graphic novel, he used like he hurt his girlfriend with heat powers or something. I went
Oh,
I went and checked that out, and it was just a soccer game.
ah.
So same as Fallen Angels, it's the
They
exact
fell
same thing.
fell back on that crutch so many times.
Yeah, he
Uh
was. This is in like a big game though, not just a pickup game, right? And he like got turned into Sunspot on the field and beat the hell out of a kid, and just chucked them down the field. So yeah, so that's Sunspot for you. But anyway, the
There you go.
Hellions, they were her team. So I guess at one point the Hellions all died. Basically, they died in some sort of
Most
mission.
part, I believe Empath had gone off with Magma because the two of them got together. It was like a Romeo and Juliet type
Oh,
situation. So they both left their respective teams to go kind of figure out her mess of a past. Uh, all that Nova Roma stuff and whether it was real or bullshit. So he was off the team at the time, but everyone else, I believe, was killed right around like Uncanny X-Men 281. You know, like when Whilce Portacio and the new era started. Um,
I'll take your word for it. Yeah.
Group called the Upstarts had kind of formed. They were basically a bunch of newish mutants who were like, we're gonna get rid of these old mutants and
The
take them
newish
out.
mutants.
Yeah, we're living this guy called the Games Master was running this elaborate game basically where you get points for each mutant or high value target you kill. So they're just trying to wipe out everybody they could.
Like Death Race 2000.
Pretty much, yeah. Global version of that. And Trevor Fitzroy, who was an escaped prisoner from Bishop's time, he unleashed a bunch of
Oh, okay.
Sentinels on the Reavers, and then Donald Pierce kind of led the Reavers or the Sentinels and the Reavers to Emma Frost's party, where she was, have this big shindig for the X-Men and the Hellions and stuff like that. And so they showed up there and killed a bunch of the Hellions, and then he drained a couple of the Hellions too to like because he has like teleportation powers and time travel powers. They just drain mutant life force to power up. So he drained a couple of them, killed them, and left Emma Frost in a coma for a good couple years.
Okay, so then when she came out of that coma, that's what scared her straight, kind of. She became a good person then.
It's kind of like, oh man, I kind of fucked up and screwed over all those kids by getting them involved in my mess. So I should probably fix my
It's got,
life.
this is kind of like Sandman after he joined with Hydro Man and he got scared straight, you know?
Pretty much.
So Emma Frost becomes good, and
And
then
she
she,
reopens the Massachusetts Academy where her and Banshee are the new headmasters of a group called Generation X, kind of the new generation of New
oh,
Mutants for the
Shawn
90s.
Michaels and Triple H, and
Yeah.
Road Dogg, Jesse James. Yeah, all right. So, what else was I going to say here? But then, all right. So, tell me, how did she get? Somehow, during the 30 years I wasn't reading comic books, Emma Frost could now turn her body into diamonds. What was that?
Yeah. That was a Morrison thing when they started introducing secondary mutations for certain characters.
Good
I
Lord.
don't know why. But she
Yeah.
was basically on Genosha when Cassandra Nova, Xavier's sister, launched her giant Tri-Sentinel on Genosha to basically wipe out everybody on the island. And Emma Frost was there, like, teaching some kids. And it was, she was caught in the big explosion, so she was seemingly dead. Except the X Men went in to, kind of clear the wreckage, and they found her, in the rubble, turned to Diamond, and so apparently that, the extreme events of what happened triggered her secondary mutation, and she survived by becoming Diamond. So
That's dumb.
I don't know. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
real dumb. But they did like a thing where like, oh, she can only use one power at a time. So like if she was
That's
in her
even
diamond
worse.
form, she couldn't use her telepathy.
That's even dumber.
Yeah,
So, all right.
that's real dumb.
All right, so that explains that. Anything else about we should know about the Hellions and the White Queen and all this stuff?
Yeah, they're kind of the rival school of the New Mutants, which was a cool idea. It wasn't
Yeah.
something they really had before.
So, all right,
It's
the,
pretty
the
cool.
creators here, the writer is Tom DeFalco, who we know he became editor in chief of Marvel at some point. So,
That's right.
you know, Tom DeFalco, and the artist is a lady named Mary Wilshire, who I have never encountered before in my life in the
Nope.
comics world. I found she was born in New Jersey in 1953, so that's something. And she has 42 penciling credits at Marvel.
Hmm.
She did all the four Firestar issues because this is a four-issue limited series. And she also did like 7 issues of Red Sonja, 3 issues of the New Mutants,
Oh.
Amazing Spider-Man Annual 19, I think some Savage Sword of Conan, a couple issues, and then she did a bunch of Barbie kind of stuff.
Oh,
So,
okay. No wonder we haven't heard as much of
yeah.
her then.
But yeah, she did, I think New Mutants issues like 34 to 37. She did.
Oh,
I
okay.
probably had those, or
I know I
uh,
definitely had those. I want to say that's around when there's that cover of like the old mutants where it's like a picture of them and they're kind of like looking old.
can't remember. I
I
think
think they
my
go to the
earliest, maybe I wasn't buying New Mutants then because when I think back when I was buying New Mutants, I remember when they had that bird brain guy.
uh, yeah, he sucked.
Yes, he did.
He was the worst. Yeah, that was around the
Uh,
fall of the mutants. That was much later
uh,
on.
so I don't know. All right, but
Yeah.
that's all I got on Mary Wilshire. I don't know. That's something. But
Yeah. Did she work at DC at all, or is it
yeah,
just a
she did
couple
a
of
couple.
Marvel?
What did she do at DC? She only did a handful of things at DC, but she did work over there a bit. She worked at other companies too.
Okay. Yeah, she's making a career of it. That's good.
Yeah, and she had other like art jobs outside of comics as well, I believe. So, all right, like I think if I'm remembering correctly, she was drawing stuff for like National Geographic and stuff, and like
Uh,
I
she's
don't
drawing like Goofus and Gallant and
know. Yeah, but all right. So why don't you describe the cover for the people? A little bait and switcher on the cover, a little bit, but
yeah, yeah. They're advertising hard with this cover.
yes.
So we got the little corner box first. We get says Marvel 25th anniversary, only 25 years. Wow, Marvel was still young at that
I
point.
know it always blows my mind when I
It
see that because I was
really
like,
is.
I was like a kid buying these. I was like, wow, 25 years, they're so old.
Yeah.
It's like, holy
Holy
hell.
hell. If only we knew. And
Yeah.
there's a cool shot of Firestar with her mask on and full costume and just kind of like a bust shot just going up. And she's got her arms raised or one arm raised and she's doing her little microwave that blast kind of just radiating out of
Yeah,
her.
it's a cool cover or corner box. Yeah.
Pretty cool. I like it. And then it says number 2 in a 4-issue limited series. Firestar. The edges of the letters are all jaggedy. You make it look like she's shooting lightning bolts, but
Yeah,
she
I know. I don't know why we get the jaggedy lightning bolt,
yeah. They're
but
not really flame like, they're more lightning like. I don't know.
yeah,
But then the cover itself's kind of a like a big orange circle that kind of radiates out into like a red gradient with some like solar flares coming off of her. Essentially, the microwaves beaming off of her, and she's in the middle of the orange circle. She's got no mask on, but her costume is there, and her hair is all flying wild, and she's using her microwaves on Wolverine. Yep, the
yeah.
Wolverine's definitely going to be in this book, so you got to buy
Firestar's
it.
fighting Wolverine. Take my 75 cents.
Yep.
I gotta see this.
Wolverine's in a book, I'm buying it. And then you read it and you're like, oh, this is not what I was promised.
Yeah, we should mention she's a white girl with red hair, and then she's got
Hmm.
a yellow costume with like red gloves and stuff. So
Yeah. Kind of fiery gloves and
yeah,
boots. Yeah. Kind
and
of cool.
I guess she has like a red mask normally, right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, a little kind of domino mask, but more pointy. Cool
Maybe
looking
that's what the
mask.
lightning bolts are for. The mask. All right, but yeah, if you're expecting Wolverine to be in this issue, don't know what to tell you.
Technically, he is.
Yeah, well, a version of him. Yeah, and Angelica Jones, she's
Well, I
only
mean, actually, I mean, the real Wolverine is in
oh, that's
there.
right. Yeah, yeah, he
Yeah.
is. Yeah, I forgot.
Yep.
But Angelica Jones is she's in her 14th year as we open up the book, so she's only 13 here. And
Oof.
The Players in the Pawn is the title of it. And we get a big splash page of her riding a horse.
Yeah, that's our old buddy Butter Rum.
Yeah, God
He
bless
is.
Butter Rum. Nothing terrible is going to happen to Butter Rum. She loves
No.
Butter Rum. Never going to
Frost is so nice, she wouldn't even send Butter Rum away
be.
like the rest of those horses.
We should mention Bob Wyasek is on the finished art here. So we know him, famous anchor. He's done a ton of stuff.
Sure.
So there's a guy here, Randall something. He's one of Ms. Frost's what were those guys called? The Hellfire Club goons? What were they?
Yeah. What are they called? Do they
Just
actually have a
Hellfire,
name? Just
just
Hellfire?
Hellfire Club Guard or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like they had those blank face masks or whatever.
Looks like just
Yeah,
Hellfire soldiers.
yeah. Well,
So,
he's one of
yeah,
them.
no cool names.
But he's just in a normal civilian clothes here. But he's basically her protector. He's supposed to watch over her because she's a
Yeah.
very powerful mutant. And yeah, this is issue 2. In issue 1, Xavier found her with Cerebro, and he tried to recruit her as well, but Emma Frost got there first, and uh, Angelica is raised by a single dad. So I'm guessing when he took a
Hmm.
look at Emma Frost, he's like, "Yeah, whatever
Hmm.
you want, you can just take my kid." So
Yep.
Emma
I trust
Frost,
you. In an outfit like that, I definitely trust
he
you.
sound he seemed pretty responsible. You can take my daughter. But yeah, so that's how she ended up there instead with Xavier.
Basically a prequel then, if she already appeared in like
Yes.
X-Men
Oh, that's
and
the other
New
thing I meant to
Mutants.
mention. Yeah, yeah. This is like, I guess if we read all 4 issues, this issue, the first couple issues are before her appearance at what was that mountain they in issue 193? What's that mountain called they fought at?
What's that
Uh,
called?
shoot, I don't know. It's a mountain. They had the big fight scene. There was like an underground base at the mountain, and that's where Thunderbird originally died, right? At that thing with anyway. But anyway, that's where they're at. But so those events happen like maybe around issue 3 or something of this, or maybe 4. What I'm saying is in the 4 issues, it spans from before that to after that,
Okay.
from what I
Yeah.
read.
Yeah, because it looks like
So
at the end, I think she breaks free of Emma Frost. So
yeah, so this part is the prequel, but yeah, she's already been in that X-Men issue at this point. So yeah, she's riding her horse Butter Rum, and that Randall guy's like, "Hey, you got to get to class, you know. You don't want to
yeah,
disappoint Miss Frost."
you don't want to smell like a horse.
Yeah, that's right. This is so weird. Yeah, he's like, you gotta get your back, get a shower because you don't want to smell like a horse. And then so they get back, and then she's going in. You see him getting into his Hellfire outfit, and then she's waiting outside the door, priority clearance only. And he says, "You about ready?" And she's like, "Yeah, how do I smell?" And then he says, fine, that deodorant soap works or does wonders. What? Why do we need any of that?
uh, it's
Uh,
also it's got to be weird. Like, how do you convince these Hellions that this is a normal school when like you have goons, weird masks and outfits on?
yeah,
Like
they're just
these are like your teachers, but then all of a sudden they have to go put on their weird face masks and goon
yeah,
around.
yeah. Your mistress of the school is Emma Frost, who dresses in a white leather corset and thigh-high boots
Yeah, like this all
and a
seems.
cape. That's normal. Yeah, that's very strange. But inside that private room there, Emma Frost is going through a training session with the Hellions. It's basically they have their own version of the Danger Room, I guess.
Yeah.
And she's watching them, but she's a real ball buster, this Emma Frost, you know? She's not letting up on these kids. She's pretty harsh with them. And
Yeah.
they're not performing too well in their Danger Room session, eh, Jank?
Not so much. The old jet stream there, like hits Thunderbird right in the face on accident. And he's like, yeah, you dropped Cat's Eye too soon. She wasn't ready for it yet. And Cat's Eye, you're supposed to be turning into a cat before you hit the ground. You're doing it too slow. So yeah, she's not having any of this.
And so what does she do to like does she give them a pep talk, tries to encourage them, shows them some love and support? How does she coach the team?
Well, she's got a different style where she just goes into their brains and gives them a mind blast to,
Yeah.
kind of mess with their brains and make them feel intense psychological pain. It's the stick more so than the carrot.
I wish she was coaching the Pittsburgh Penguins. That'd have been a lot better. But I like how they just show like an overlay of just in blue ink her eyes and her eyebrows. She's very mad, and it's like overlaid of the panel, and they're all holding their heads and crying. And Firestar's watching this. I thought Firestar would be horrified that she's watching this and like she's but she doesn't seem to mind. She's just
Yeah, I don't think she knows because she's like Emma Frost is saying this in their brains.
yeah.
So I don't know that she knows what's going on.
But Emma Frost is decked out in her Emma Frost outfit,
Yep.
and all the Hellions
She's like, oh, I
are
really like this bracelet you gave me
yeah. She gave her a
and told me
bracelet.
to never take it off.
Whatever you
So I
do,
would
don't take it
definitely
off.
won't.
But really,
Yeah.
that's completely normal. Don't worry about it. Just don't take off that bracelet, whatever you do. And but we see the other Hellions trying, they're holding their heads and they're like, oh, that new girl. I hear she's real powerful.
Yeah.
They won't let her play with us because she's so strong. And,
I like that Cat's Eye apparently was raised by cats, so she's very strange and talks weird. Why that pretty person here?
yeah, that's how I talk as well. So then we see Emma putting Angelica through some tests, just has her hooked up to some sensors and telling her try to control her power, and they're measuring how much radiation she puts off, and
Yeah.
she's going off the charts. And then they just have a slab of metal shoot off the wall at her, which is weird. And,
Yeah.
and then when the metal gets close to her, though, she's looking at it, and Charles Xavier's face pops up on it. And because of that bracelet she's wearing, it what's the point of the bracelet? It gives her like Emma is able to control her mind better with that bracelet on or something, right?
Yeah, I don't know. She doesn't really need the bracelet, so it's kind of
Mm.
unclear what the point of that is.
Yeah, I
She
don't
could
know.
do that anyway, but
But she's like really driving home that
oh,
Xavier's
it's a
evil.
hallucinator, I think. That's what it is. It makes her see things whatever Emma Frost wants her to see. But again, Emma Frost
Couldn't
could do
yeah,
that
couldn't
with
Emma
her
do that anyway?
yeah, with her powers.
Emma's got a bracelet, like a jewelry business on the side. She's trying to make a go of it, so it's just
She's
sort of
got an
fun.
Etsy page she really
Yeah.
wants to take off.
So yeah, she's trying to like drive home that Charles Xavier is evil, and
Yeah.
yeah, so
Her cool
uh,
lingerie to see your father, so fuck him.
and Angelica is like shooting her energy at the Xavier picture, and then who pops up behind her, Jank?
Well, bursting through the door is Wolverine.
Yeah, it's Wolverine, just like the cover.
Yeah, here
What's
we
a
go. It's
Wolverine
finally
doing there?
happening. Seems random that he would just come to this school and kick down a door to fight a little girl, but you know,
And he pops his claws, and then she says, "Those claws will rip me apart. Keep back, I'm warning you." And he just explodes. So, so we see Wolverine for one panel. I guess one
Yep.
and a half. His shadows in the other one. And then she's like,
Well,
"Oh my
she's
God."
that cool that she was able to kill Wolverine, no problem.
And she's like, "I killed Wolverine." And Emma Frost is like, "Nah, look at that. Look at the remnants there. It's not blood and guts in it. It's a robot. It was just a robot." So,
Yep.
yeah. But this Emma Frost, she's messing with her head. She's
Yeah, she's playing those mind games.
she's torturing this
Great.
poor girl. But she'll never do anything bad to Butter Rum.
Nope. She's got her lines for sure. She would definitely not hurt Butter
Never
Rum.
hurt Butter Rum. What kind of a monster do you think this Emma Frost
Butter
is?
Rum will be here far after everyone else does.
So, but yeah, this Emma Frost, man, she's watching Angelica leave the room there, and then she's yelling at some other guy, and she doesn't treat her employees well. This Emma Frost, she's
Randall at
very,
one point is like, "Hey, maybe you should ease up on, Angelica." And she's like, "Shut up! I'll bust you. I'll like fry your brain if I want, if I feel like it."
yeah, I'll just melt your brain. And but she lets Angelica think that she blew up the robot, but actually Emma Frost is in her mind. She's saying it, especially since the robot did in fact destroy itself. It's
Yeah.
true that it was part of an elaborate test, but only I know the true nature of that test. Uh, Now we cut into the school there on a normal school day, and Angelica's walking down the hall, and the other Hellions are there in their normal school outfits. And there's a cat eye lady. She's like, "Pretty person come too," because they're going to go to a dance or something, right?
Oh, well, I think that now they're talking about going to a movie.
Oh, okay, yeah, movie.
Yeah, I can't. And Empath, I think, is the one giving her a bunch of shit about it. Oh, you're too
Yeah,
good for us, huh?
yeah.
But really,
What's
she's
his
afraid to
problem?
be around people. Yeah. Empath seems like a real jerk.
Yes, he does.
Surprising that he kind of became the good one.
So she goes back to her room by herself, and she's just crying. She's all sad. She's looking at a picture of her dad,
Yeah.
and but she's like, I guess her dad was freaked out when he found out she was a mutant. So
And she keeps mentioning this is the first time she mentions it, but she mentions it to Cannonball again later, like this M on her hand
yeah,
and how that means she's a mutant because she has this M on her hand. It's like, what? This isn't a thing. I've never
yeah.
heard this in any other book.
She almost makes it sound like it's a branded mark on her hand, but I guess
Yeah.
it's just like the lines in your palm make an M. Is that what she's talking about?
I mean, I'm looking at my hand. I kind of got one too, so maybe I'm a
You're a
mutant.
mutant, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
So,
I think everyone
but
just has
but
that.
but the weird thing is like when later on she's talking to Cannibal about it, she goes, "I got this M on my hand." He goes, "Oh yeah, I got one too."
Yeah.
So no one's ever mentioned that in all the years of X-Men comic books I've
No.
read.
Why would it be an M? Like what? Like nature just knew that the word was going to be mutant? Like,
Yes, it knew the alphabet. So but now where do we go here? We cut to the New Mutants and the Xavier School for Gifted Youngsters.
yeah, they're
And
doing the same thing that the Hellions were basically,
yeah,
just
working out in
having
the
a
old
danger room
danger room.
session.
And Magma is a part of the team here. And
Yeah.
Xavier and Nightcrawler and why is Nightcrawler not wearing a shirt? Put a shirt on. What are you
You're
doing?
around children.
This isn't a spa. What are you doing? And Storm, this is Mohawk Storm time. She's up there with him. And Xavier can walk. He's got his legs here. He can
He's still in a chair, so he's just lazy apparently. Xavier's been faking it the whole time. He was always just lazy.
but they're watching it, Xavier's kind of like a distracted. He's like, I'm still thinking of that Angelica girl. I should have done more to bring her over here. And I don't
And the
know.
new mutants are apparently giving Cannonball shit about being into Magma, even though Magma's right there. Like maybe maybe you don't talk about this in front of her.
Then we cut over to White Queen. She's having a FaceTime years early with
Yep.
Sebastian Shaw and checking in with him on how the plan's going. And
Yeah, telling her all about this Angelica Jones. Like she's real powerful. She's gonna be awesome.
because they want to use her as an assassin.
Yeah.
Because since she has microwave power, she can melt or like burn people from the inside.
Mm-hmm. And then and be long gone before an autopsy could ascertain the cause of death.
Quincy would still figure it out.
Yep.
Uh, Jack Klugman would know. But Yeah, so that's their goal here with Firestar, to make her a great assassin for them.
Hmm.
Do they really need more assassins when Emma Frost can just fry someone's brain at any point she
That's a
wants?
good point. Yeah. Yeah, that's a very good point.
I don't know. But I
I
always
think
like
it
how they
seems like
did.
the main person they want to go after is Celine, and I don't know that there's going to be much of a coroner investigation into Celine's death. She's been
Oh,
alive for like centuries.
oh, they want to kill Celine?
Yeah, I looked ahead, and that's kind of what
Oh,
their
okay.
plan is. I think.
Because they just don't like her being the Black Queen, or
I guess so. Yeah, and she's always like murdering people to stay alive. Like
I
that's weird.
just saw like Emma Frost is always decked out in this white dominatrix outfit, just lounging around, drinking brandy out of a snifter. That's how she rolls.
Pretty
What a life. All right,
great.
so Angelica is now cut to her room and she's sleeping. She's still got that bracelet on. So I
Yeah,
think her dreams are being manipulated, and she's seeing the X-Men in her dreams, and she thinks they're evil, and she's
yeah.
crying.
He's like, ew, Cyclops. He's gonna leave his wife. That jerk.
So then the next day at school, she runs into Hellions again, and oh, now here's going to be the big school dance. They're going to have a mixer with Charles Xavier's School of Gifted Youngsters.
Yeah. They're
We have a
having a
whole
big
student
sock
body
hop.
here of a couple hundred kids. They have six. We're going to have
It's basically let's invite the weird homeschool kids. Like,
yeah, that's in to fight those kids over. And so yeah, they're all excited to go to this dance, and Empath is again giving her the business, saying, "Oh, you're too fancy to go to a dance with us normal folks."
yeah,
And so Angelica's like, "I'll show them."
yep. So we go back to the danger room over there, and she's like, "Look at me, Miss Frost. I'm flying." She's like, "I'm doing so well with my powers. You should let me go to the dance, right?" And Miss Frost's like, "Oh, all right, I guess so. As long as you behave and stuff like that." But she's like, "Ha ha ha! This is actually my plan all along. I want her to go to that dance."
Yep. And this is where she threatens that Randall because
Yeah.
Randall's like, "Why don't you lay off her a little bit?" And she gets crazy. How dare you question my judgment? Look at that panel. She's pissed.
Consider
And
yourself lucky that the child appears to hold you in some regard, and that I am in an extremely forgiving mood today. You may go with your miserable brain intact. Thank you, mistress. Some weird domination shit going on here.
And she says, Firestar will go to that dance because I desire her to do so. There are a few rather interesting guests that I am anxious for her to meet. I
Mhm.
think you mean eager for her to meet. But, all right, so then we got back to Xavier's school, and the New Mutants are asking if they can go to the dance. And Wolverine's like, "What are you doing? You don't let them go to a dance at Emma Frost's school.
Yeah. She
Insane."
tried to kidnap us like multiple times. Like, why would you do that?
And Wolverine's wearing his lucky yellow shirt. He walks around it. And but Colossus is like, "Hey, I like parties. I'll take them to the dance if you want. I'll be their
Colossus is
chaperone.
like, I've been known to date an underage girl or two in my day, so maybe
Yeah,
I'll pick someone up here.
maybe I'll scout for a replacement." And then Storm also says she'll go. So yeah, with Storm and Colossus there, what could possibly go wrong? It's
Yeah.
not like a horse is going to die. I mean, what's going to happen? So they agree to go. Now we cut over to Angelica, and she's hanging out with her buddy Butter Rum.
Yeah, things are going great, and they will
Yeah.
always go great.
They're transferring all the horses at the stable because they're doing some sort of a show or something somewhere. Is that what's happening? And
Yeah.
but Butter Rum is
Except for,
staying behind
yep, he stays behind Frost's orders. She's
because
just like, isn't that just like Miss Frost? She's so thoughtful. She knew how much we'd hate being separated. I'll bet she's the kindest person in the whole world.
yep.
Oh,
Look at Butter Rum.
oh, Firestar.
Look at that panel of Butter Rum's eyes. He's like he knows. He knows what's
Yeah.
happening. He's like, "Oh man,
He looks like Kloppy in those Conan sketches.
this is not going to
Just
end well."
waiting for the end.
So now it's the night of the big dance, and there's Sire Colossus dressed in a fancy tuxedo with a ruffled shirt,
Yeah.
and Storm's in a big dress with her mohawk and everything. And we got all the New Mutants there, and they're all enjoying some punch, talking to Emma Frost, just chatting it up with her. And
It's so weird. to just see them hanging out. Like, oh
Mortal
yeah, hey,
enemies.
hey, what's going on? What you been up to?
And she's still trying to read their mind. She says, "Ha, though they are trying to shield their thoughts from me, I can sense that beneath their calm exteriors, both Storm and Colossus are tensed and prepared to spring into action at the first sign of trouble."
I mean, why wouldn't they be?
They're X-Men.
You've only tried to murder them 20 times.
And now we see Sunspot and I guess that's Magma with her and or him. And
I think
we
this
see
might be one of the new, like one of just the people from that school.
oh yeah, it could have
Um,
been that Taro maybe. Or
he
not.
wanted to go to this. Roberta was the main one wanting to go to this dance to pick up ladies. He's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna find me some new ladies
Yeah,
instead of you just
I think
three.
that's actually roulette maybe. The
Yeah,
blonde. Okay.
yep.
But anyway, they're seeing Cannonball, and Sam Guthrie, he's all nervous and gawky, and but he sees Angelica, and he's like, "Oh, she's foxy."
Hmm.
I thought he was into Magma earlier, right? No,
Girls with fire powers, apparently.
he's just moving on, and so Sunspot there shoves him over, like, "Hey, go talk to her," and he asks her to dance, and they start dancing, and they're stepping on each other's feet because they're both really awkward.
Yeah.
And,
Those
so
two dancing or trying out for the kickball team.
so they decide to just go for a walk instead, and but it's actually like Emma Frost is like putting thoughts in their minds, right? Like
Ah, yeah, she's behind this whole thing.
she's like, yes, it's a beautiful night for a walk.
Hmm.
So
Little
go
suggestions.
going for a walk out by the stables, I think actually, and
What could go wrong with that?
and this is where they talk about the M's in their hands,
Yeah.
and
Also, apparently, her father was specialized in nuclear power plants. So,
so
yikes. Maybe that's
how she got her
what.
powers, yeah. And so like, hey, you got an M on your hand, I got an M on my hand, let's kiss. So that's what they do, and their first kiss.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I never imagined it would be so. And then Miss Frost pops up in her brain. What are you doing? How dare you risk that innocent boy's life?
Yeah. Yeah, because remember, she thinks she blew up that robot Wolverine because she can't control her powers.
Yeah.
So Emma Frost is trying to mess with her head here, saying, "You could have killed that boy. Don't touch that boy."
He's got cooties.
So she goes running off, crying, and goes into the stable to meet see her buddy Butter Rum, and the stable ignites on fire.
Yep.
And she's like, "Oh no, my powers! I just let this." And now Butter Rum's in here. Butter Rum. So she's got to go try and save Butter Rum.
Winnie.
And Cannonball runs back to say, "Hey, there's a fire at the stable." And
I thought that was Cannonball, but it's somebody else who looks a lot like Cannonball because
oh,
they say like I don't know, I can't see him or his new girlfriend. They must be outside. So that was not
oh wow, yeah. 'Cause I was just looking at the picture. That Yeah. Looks exactly like Cannonball. Same haircut, and
Yep, sure is.
so everyone goes running to the stable to see Angelica. Thank God she got Butter Rum out of the barn, Jank. Thank
Just
God.
carried him out what it looks like.
There's nothing to worry about. Butter Rum is safe. Everyone
Yep.
can relax. But what happens?
Well, then Butter Rum's like, oh, I guess I was too scared and just passes out and keels over dead.
It just dies right there.
And Angelica's just like, I killed him. It's all my fault. I know it is. And Cannonball's like, no, you did your best to try to save him. And she just runs off in the woods and has a good cry.
But who comes to console her?
Well, I'm a Frost, of course.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, you're not angry with me? And I'm just like, no, of course not, dear. It's not your fault you can't control that awful power that's within you. Just put yourself in my hands, totally and without any reservations, and I'll make certain that nothing like this ever happens again. But please, I need you. Perfect. Whenever she thinks of this night, she'll always remember that I was the only one who could comfort her.
Yeah, keep going.
Others will be associated in her mind with the fear and death, even though it was I who preset the fires and telepathically stopped the horse's heart from beating. Yes, from this moment on, she is mine, body and soul. Yeah, she killed Butter Rum.
She yeah, so again, why do they need assassins if she can just stop people's hearts from beating?
Yeah, yeah, that's a good question. Very good question. Seems like that would cause a lot less questions than even microwave deaths.
How do you feel about that final panel? Because it's a close-up of Cannonball's face staring at the camera and like the reflection of the fire on his face, like lighting him up. And like that narration, the last narration you read are in boxes over top of him, but it's not like he can hear that or anything. So I might have just preferred you know, a shot of Emma smiling or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends if this ever pays off at all. Like, does he mention something to her? Like, hey, wait a minute. I'm sure he's got his suspicions of what's going on here. Um,
But from like, so he thinks Emma killed the horse and let the barn on fire.
yeah, I don't think from what they know of Emma Frost, does that seem like something she wouldn't do? Like, I don't know.
I don't know. She's pretty cool to me. That outfit, I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, so there it is. That's issue 2 of Firestar in her own limited series.
Yeah.
So,
Action packed.
yeah, Tom DeFalco. There's some weird lines in there. That anti-deodorant soap, or what was that? Deodorant soap, or whatever.
Yeah.
Antibacterial. That was weird. But really, Emma Frost. Wow, what a villain she is in this issue. You know?
Yeah, I mean, this is what made Emma Frost so good. It was just the manipulation, the mind control abilities. Like, you see a lot of telepaths usually on the good side, and they're not going to do anything that bad. Like, even Professor X, who can be a jerk from time to time, he's not just flat out going to, control people's minds for long periods of time. But Emma Frost has no such compunction, so it's interesting to see her just unleashed.
Yeah, she's almost as evil as that doctor guy from Night Nurse.
Almost.
Almost.
That would have been great if that's how she ended the night. Like, she just got real drunk after. Like, I did so good with Angelica tonight. I'm gonna go drinking and driving now. Hit
Dr.
some lady
William
in the street.
Sutton. That was his name. Dr. William Sutton, right?
Hmm.
Um, yeah, she's quite the villain here. Probably a Golden Flea nominee might be in her future because this is top
I mean,
top
plus their
shelf.
outfit. I mean, come on. How do you top that?
So the art here by Mary Wilshire. I think last week when you mentioned the Firestar, I said I'd almost picked it once before, but I wasn't too crazy about the art. But I thought the art here was fine. It was.
Yeah, there's some panels where it's not that great, but then some of the faces are pretty good looking.
Yeah, there's a
Um,
shot of when Sam first sees Angelica at the dance and she's standing. That's a great shot of her standing there. And
I
Emma.
like the way she draws Sam for sure. Like he looks appropriately nerdy and gawky and lanky and weird looking.
So yeah, I had no problem with the art. There's some good panels in here. Um,
Yeah. She drew a good butter rum. She gave him
yeah,
his justice.
she brought Butter Rum to life. Poor Butter Rum, you know.
Oh, I mean that's such a good name too, butter
Yeah,
rum. And now just gone.
I like that. Now the horse is probably already called Butter Rum, right? Or because like there's no way like, a 13-year-old girl I'd like to get boozed to some Butter Rum. Let's call the horse Butter Rum.
Yeah, that sounds like an Emma Frost name right there. That's probably something she drinks on the reg.
Uh,
The other one's name is Scotch. The other one's name is gin and tonic.
Cavatier. All right. All right. So what do you think? Firestar, 1 out of 10.
You know what? It's not the best comic I've ever read, but at the same time, it had some good Emma Frost manipulations, and it just reminded me of the old school comics that I used to read about X-Men and the New Mutants, and just that time of just these school kids and their problems, and everyone's getting their feelings hurt about stupid things, and then trying to hook up at this dance. It's just like, oh yeah, I remember when comics used to be about this stuff, and it was just kind of fun. So I'm gonna give it like a 7.
I'm actually right there with you, 7 out of 10.
Yeah,
Because Emma Frost, this is great. This is what you want out of a villain, being just a terrible, terrible person.
yeah, it's a pretty great plan. Even though I mean, she could just control her mind, completely. But I guess it does make more sense to do it more subtly and make it last longer by, you know,
But because she
really
did all
manipulating
this,
her.
this is why at the end of that issue 193, Xavier asks her to come join the New Mutants, and she still says, no, I'm loyal to Emma Frost because of all
Uh,
these mind games she played with her. She was
yeah.
remembering Butter Rum, the night she consoled me after
Oh,
Butter Rum's tragic death.
the origin and death of Butter Rum all in one issue.
Yes.
This should be a collection. item.
So there you go, the Firestar miniseries. All right, Jank. Next week here on the show, I'm going through it again, trying to pick an issue. All right, I'll let you.
Uh
I'll take you through the
oh.
process. So
Okay.
when you said the Firestar limited series, I'm like, oh, you know what I should do? It's got to be an Iceman limited series, right?
Oh, there sure was.
Yeah. So I was gonna pick the Iceman limited series, and it was from like 1985-ish or so, around
Yep,
there.
that sounds about right.
And,
Right around the time
and
this one came
but I
out.
was looking at it, and it looks terrible, not in a fun way, like just
Yeah. I
terrible.
had that and I never actually read it, and I've been looking at that one too and just like, I can't.
Yeah,
That
I
and the
just
Nightcrawlers. No, neither of these look that great.
I think that at least the Nightcrawler one, didn't they have that little Banff guy in it, the little
Yeah, I
Nightcrawler?
think
So he was cool. But
there's like a pirate in some of them, but it's just kind of like this is goofy stuff. Like, why
yeah,
aren't they
this
doing X-Men things?
yeah, this Iceman one, there's like an alien called Oblivion or something, and he sends people, two aliens down to get Iceman. I don't know what the hell's going on. So I'd rather not do that.
That's fair.
But then I was like, well, then what are we gonna do? So then I thought, what if we go like the Champions? Because Iceman was on the Champions team, you know? And Mike Ell and I did a Champions issue way back in several years ago. We could always do another Champions issue. But then when I went into search for Champions, there's another comic from Eclipse Comics in 1986 of a group of heroes called Champions.
Oh, look at that.
And I don't never heard of this at all. I have no idea what this is. And apparently it's based on a role-playing game, a popular role-playing game.
Hmm.
And
Not be that popular 'cause I don't
yeah.
remember ever hearing of it.
And I guess there's a six-issue limited series in 1986. Then they came back in 1987 with a bit longer run. So I don't know what you want to do. Do you want to try and do Iceman? But I'd rather not. Do you want to
Yeah,
do
let's not.
an old school champions like the Hercules and Black Widow and all them? Or would you want to do like it seems like a very Mighty Crusaders kind of thing, the
Oh,
champions.
that could be fun.
All right, let's get weird with it. Let's go Champions from 1986, issue 6 of the
All right.
six-issue limited series. So the final issue, and we'll learn all about these champions because they're not the champions, they're just champions.
They're just champions, yeah.
I didn't know this book existed until a few minutes ago, but let's
Interesting.
learn
Yeah, I'm
about the
looking at it now. There's
champions.
a bunch of new characters to learn. All right.
Yeah, one of them does seem like he's Iceman though, so it kind of ties in.
Oh, perfect.
He's riding his little ice slides and everything. So, all right, that'll be next week here on the big show. Again, if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. We appreciate the support. And until next week, don't get any jank on you.